There's no sound.
That's interesting. Any now?
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Radio Show, only on Financial News and Talk. Now live in studio, your host, local and national real estate expert and consumer advocate, Ron Siegel.
And hello again. Welcome to Ron Siegel Radio. This is the show with no real boundaries as we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media. This is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit from current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan, a plan to save you money, I personally work with you. Even if you don't have any needs today, save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. National Cheese Souffle Day. I'm not sure I've ever had a cheese souffle. Chocolate souffle, yes. Grand Marnier souffle, yes. A lot of different types of souffles, but cheese souffle. But, you know, something, hey, it looks good, and I'll try something like that. Although I guess, I don't know how we're supposed to eat it because today's also National No Dirty Dishes Day. Okay, and it is Juice Slush Day. I thought isn't that, am I missing something? Isn't that supposed to be July 11th? I always heard of Slushy Day as July 11th, and that's when 7-Eleven gives away free slushies all day, or ices. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay, Visit Your Relatives Day. I don't know about that. And we're looking HIV Vaccine Awareness Day. That's a fascinating one. I was just with a friend yesterday, and I hadn't heard this, but apparently at City of Hope, they're actually working on, or they've noticed that there is a correlation between those people who are taking the HIV medications and a diminished issue of cancer. So that's a fascinating study going on over there again at the City of Hope. So hopefully that'll work. Let's move right along and see what else we've got going on in the world today. Ooh, the Dow Jones Industrial Average now down 840 points. Ow! S&P 500 down 125. The NASDAQ is down another 433. Oil is down $1.10 a barrel. Why is all of this happening? Well, as I shared with you yesterday, there is a misconception as to what's going on in the retail sales numbers. And if you're watching these markets and you're seeing what's going on in retail sales, well, what we're finding out is because of all of the massive amounts of inflation, we're starting to see that the numbers are coming through into retail sales. So Walmart, biggest one-day drop yesterday, and I think they said like 20 or 30 years. That's for Walmart. Now we look today and we see that Target, last I saw their numbers were down 25%. Their stock price down 25% to $160 a share, $54 down. Well, what we're finding out is people are having to buy food. Wow, isn't that a surprise?
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
And they're not buying the electronics. They're not buying the items that they want to have. They're buying the have-to-haves. We're watching the gasoline prices, right? So gasoline prices in the state of California, now we're going crazy on gas prices. Now they're talking about $5 gas as a national number. That's another 50 cents above where we are as far as where the national number is on gasoline right now. Gas right now nationally, $4.57 a gallon. 456.7 is the exact number. So call it 457. They're talking about gasoline going to over $5. That's another 10% increase. That means that projects to about $6.75 for gasoline in California.
Such an idiot. Such an idiot.
And what is our state doing about it? Not a darn thing. Josh, you're at 522, so don't complain too much. We're at 605. Jody's at 483, so we're going to all have to go see Jody to get gasoline. 422 is where Lori's paying out there in Louisiana. 422 compared, you can even go to Hawaii, it's 534 a gallon. So not going to get better anytime soon, especially as the demand increases when Shanghai starts opening up. So be aware, you've been warned. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio. We're giving you that information just so you know what to expect. It's not a pretty sight on the inflation stage. And did you catch what the press secretary said yesterday about it? Yeah, we talk about global warming instead. I don't make this stuff up. I just report it on the mornings when we come in and chat about some of these things. You got to wonder, but hey, at least we've got the village people on the cabinet. It's just, I'm going to get some bad comments on that one, Josh. But you know what? it's the norm. It's what I expect in the mornings. Let's see what else is going on. Congress, biggest thing they've got to worry about is they've got a public hearing on UFOs. That's probably, and who would you expect? We got to get the best person in the country to lead that conversation. Adam Schiff. Shifty Schiff. If you believe anything he says, don't. Let's move right along. JP Morgan investors not too excited. Stock price down about 23%. So they decided that they're not exactly excited. They decided that they're not excited about the new pay package for Jamie Dimon, their longtime CEO. It's a shame that he's going to have to live off of a pay package of $201.8 million. 201.8. Now, I want the CEOs to make good money, but $200 million. Do you think that might be a little excessive?
It is what it is.
$200 million. Elon Musk in the news. Well, I guess today ends in Y, so Elon Musk is in the news. Is he in the news every day? Maybe he's getting a little bit of buyer's remorse there on Twitter. Maybe he thinks he paid too much money. Was it a strategy right along? Do you believe that he really did that and didn't know what was going on? So now the issue is he believes that there are over 20% of Twitter's users are fake accounts. I have 3. I'm just throwing that out there. So 20% fake, and I don't use hardly any of them. I did leave for a while. Once Musk said that he was going to buy the company, I went back on. But 20% fake accounts. Did he do this just to get a better price? Think about it. He offers $54.20. You have to remember that $4.20 on there. So he offers $54.20 a share and tells everyone, this is my final offer. Now, does that really mean anything to anybody? You say, this is my final offer. Well, Musk comes back and does not offer, and the board says, we'll take it. Well, maybe Musk says, if I came in with a lower offer, do you think they would have taken that too? Maybe that's what he's up to now. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate. current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, how to win a bidding war. We'll talk about it. How to win a bidding war, how home ownership can bring you joy. We're going to talk about the housing shortage, or is there? You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. When you're ready for that next home loan, Geneva's got the programs and the products. And now they just came up with a program where you can actually lock your loan before you find a property. Yeah, some great, there's some rules that go with it, but give us a call at 800-306-1990. Lock the loan before you actually find the property. That way you can protect yourself in case interest rates go up. Let's take a look at the market right now. The S&P 500 down 116 points. 10-year Treasury down 5 points to 2.92. Mortgage-backed securities are up 6 points. And let's take a look at mortgage rates. OBMMI provides the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of prices ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. Rates locked yesterday, 5.479. So they were back going on the upswing again. That's 5.479. That's the 30-year conforming rate. Jumbo's 5.104. 30-year FHA loans locked at 5.392. The best loan on the market, the VA loan, 30-year 5.168. USDA 5.324. And the 15-year 4.625. But why is all of this happening? That's what we want to know about. Why are we getting the information the way this is? Well, first off, we get comments from the Fed chairman, Powell. Yesterday, he made some comments that the Fed will continue to hike until they kill inflation. It sounds like planning another 50 basis point hike in June, but they are already starting to backtrack. Powell initially said that the Fed thought they would be able to achieve a soft landing. That means not as going into recession. But then now we're giving themselves outs and said that there may be some potential paths to avoiding a recession. No, there's not. It doesn't appear the markets believe that the Fed are going to be able to kill inflation. Remember, this is not Paul Volcker in the Fed chair seat. That is much more wishy-washy. And many are questioning if the Fed will actually have the fortitude, the gumption, to continue tightening to reduce inflation while they see the stock market dropping the way it is. Housing news. This is where the big news is coming in. And we're going to give you in-depth coverage of the news today because nobody else will tell you what we will tell you on Ron Siegel Radio. So what's going on in the news? What's going on with the housing market? And again, we get information from the one and only Diana Olick on CNBC, giving you consistently incorrect information. I should say, we'll get into the housing news. That's a Mortgage Minute brought to you by our friends at Geneva Financial. So let's get into this news about what the market and the shortages of housing, and get some real data for you so you can be on the lookout, so you can know what the market is really doing. So here's the issue. I'm gonna give it to you straight on because nobody else does that. So let's take a look first at housing starts. We got 1.7 million housing starts. And if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing some slides that we have for you. Housing starts, 1.7 million housing starts. We've got about 1.1 million are single-family homes, 600,000 are multi-family home. The single-family is where we need about 70%. Now, about 100,000 homes become obsolete, so those are destroyed every year. So we've got a total supply of about 1.6 million. Household formations are 1.4 million. That's new people that are getting older, deciding they want to move out of mom and dad's basement. 1.4 million. So if we look right there, that would almost tell us or make us think that we have 200,000 available. There's a surplus of 200,000. Oh, but wait. Not really, because there's the amount of homes completed is only 1.3 million. 1 million single family, 300,000 are multifamily. Destroyed is still 100,000. So now we've got a supply of 1.2 million. Household formations are 1.4 million. That stayed the same. So instead of having an excess of 200,000, we're really short 200,000. Now, that's just based on some numbers. Now, Freddie Mac comes out and says that we need 3.8 million units, that we're short 3.8 million units. I don't really believe that number, and I think that some of the numbers we've seen in the last few years from our friends over at Chapman University, they don't believe those numbers. So then you hear folks saying, well, but the birth rate is down. So household formations are not going to really be at that 1.4 million. They're not going to continue at that 1.4 million. Well, birth rates being down right now could be accurate. I'm not saying it is or it isn't. But what I am saying is it doesn't matter, because newborn kids don't buy new houses. Right? I've got a year-old grandson. He is not going to buy a new house. Probably statistically speaking, it'll be 32 years until he buys a new house, till he's counted in the household formations, right? Because 33 is where we see household formations take shape. So we're still seeing that household formation number grow. Again, if you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, or any other location where you might be watching or hearing us, just take a look at the charts that we're sharing. It's on our socials and on RonSiegelRadio.tv. Go to RonSiegelRadio.com and look at the section in there for radio shows. And we post the show, right about the time it's airing. So regardless of where you're watching us, household formation number, the chart is fairly consistent going up, right? So watch that number. The millions, pretty big number. Now, we want to look also then at the amount in the yearly change. Now, yes, 2008, we didn't see as many household formations. Why? Because we had the mortgage meltdown. We were seeing people that couldn't afford their house, so the kids were moving back into the basement. Mom and dad might have been moving in with the kids. Could have been either way. I don't know which one it was. But we did see the household formations drop. And obviously, during the pandemic, we didn't see a lot of household formations. Again, we saw some consolidation. But right before the pandemic, we were seeing record numbers of household formations. The charts are showing us that. And you can see in the last chart that we have here that it does give you an idea of where these numbers are on a regular basis. It's just a matter that the charts are showing us. And we've got a high and a low, and we're just staying right there. We're on the high side right now of the U.S. household formation numbers 1.47 million was 2015. And right now, I think we're probably around 1.4 million as well. We're looking at for this year. So that's giving you an idea. Now, when you start hearing the media saying, well, we're not creating these households. We're not getting the formations are not happening, or we've got this excessive shortage of properties. Well, they're not telling you the whole story because that's not the narrative that sells. The narrative that sells is that we've got way too much housing, so the prices are going to drop. Well, we're still in the situation where the prices will not be dropping. Why? Well, I just showed you on the charts and the data that legitimately, because of the completions. Now, why aren't we completing the houses that we start? Well, it's simple. We don't have all the components. We've got the supply chain shortages. Have you tried to get a new appliance lately? So that's why the starts that are completed are basically a third light of what's started. So we still have a deficit on the amount of properties available. Just looking at now, okay, I get it. We're going to move from a single family home as we get old. We're going to move from a single family home to a duplex or a triplex. Well, that still gets counted because that's part of the multifamily completion number. So we're still counting. Those are still, hey, I've told you before, even if you sell your house, you're going to buy another one. Well, and it costs extra to have a roof over your head. You could go and live out. There's a lot of tents out there, but it's going to cost a little extra for a roof. And we're going to still need that. So you can't go based on people buying and selling, because for every seller, not every, there's some that people expire. So that's not every seller, but most everyone is going to go from one property to another property. So then the next step of what we have to look at is what's going on with rents. Okay, so rents, according to CoreLogic, rents rose 13.6% year over year in March. This blends in new rents and the renewals. So rents are still going up. So is it a good idea to go out and buy now, or do you want to find a tent to live in? I'm going to suggest, we are in California, so tents are a little bit better than if you were in North Dakota or Minnesota or something like that. Right? Their gas prices are cheaper than ours, but the tents, their winters are a little tough. So the bottom line here is we've still got a shortage of houses. What does that mean? Why do I keep bringing up a shortage of houses? Well, if the demand keeps growing and the supply is not growing to keep up, that's a good sign for property prices. Now, with interest rates going up, we're not going to leave that elephant unspoken. Yes, interest rates are going up, so you may not be able to buy that $1,019,000. That was $1,019,000, I think we said yesterday, or $1,031,000 was the median home price for Orange County, California. I think that was the number. And I only use Orange County because that's where I'm sitting right now. If you want to know what the median price is for your county, I got them all. Just give me a call, 800-306-1990. We'll get that for you. $1,031,179 is the median home price. So maybe you can't afford that $1 million property. I get it. That might be the scenario. So you can't afford the $1 million property, but you're going to buy a $900,000 property or an $800,000. So the property values, because of demand, will continue to rise, but hopefully not at the same 20% number that we've been looking at. Maybe we'll get closer to 8, 9, 10%. You're listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, we will get into these issues, how homeownership can bring you joy, what you actually need to know about the number of foreclosures in today's housing market, what is multi-factor authentication and why you should use it, all that and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numero 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions, as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Get all the great information right there. Tell you if you're looking for a property, it's going to give you all the properties available in your desired area and that meet your criteria. If you're a homeowner, you can put in your address and it'll tell you what your property value is. And you can set it up how often you want to get that notification. How homeownership can bring you joy. If you're trying to decide whether to rent or buy a home, you're probably weighing a few different options. The financial benefits of homeownership might be the one reason you want to make a purchase if you're a renter, but the decision can also be motivated by having a place that's uniquely your own. If you want to express yourself by upgrading and customizing your living space, but are feeling held back by your rental agreement, it might be time to consider the perks of owning your home. Little change can bring lots of joy. There's a significant level of pride that comes from owning a home. That's because it's a space that truly belongs to you. Recent report from the National Association of Realtors shows making updates and remodeling your home can help you feel more at ease and comfortable in your living space. NAR measures this with a joy score, not a joystick, but a joy score that indicates how much happiness specific home upgrades bring. According to NAR, quote, there were numerous interior projects that received a perfect joy score of 10. Paint the entire interior of the home. Paint one room of the home. Add a new home office. Hardwood flooring refinish. New wood flooring. Closet renovation. Insulation upgrade. And attic conversion to living area, unquote. That one fascinates me. I'm not sure that a closet renovation is going to bring me a whole lot of joy. I don't know. Maybe my wife. I don't know, but closet renovation, I don't know about that one. This report also breaks down just how much each of these projects can enhance your emotional attachment to your home, even leading you to want to spend even more time in the space. Yeah, I want to spend more time in the closet. That'll bring me a ton of joy. I just throw that out there. Again, if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, you see or any of our socials, customization can bring you happiness. So where's the closet renovation in there? Okay, there it is. Greater desire to be home and increased sense of enjoyment at the home. It's right on the chart right there. I don't get it. And while many of the items NAR highlights are larger tasks, some, like painting rooms, are much smaller. Even those quicker projects can still bring you a greater sense of joy and accomplishment. Not to mention, when you make upgrades in your home, you could be increasing its value, which also gives your net worth a boost if you invest your time and effort wisely. Hey, can I ask a favor? Go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, StreamYard.com/Facebook, and make a comment in there. Tell me about the closet up renovation. Is that going to give you more joy? I just want to know that. Closet Josh, we need to put a graphic together that's going to say, per NAR, one of the top 7 items to bring us joy in our house is a closet renovation. What are your thoughts? Okay, we need to share that graphic out there today. You're free to update your home to your heart's content. These types of updates can result in additional happiness when you complete them, but there's another reason you can feel good as a homeowner. In most situations, you're free to renovate or update the interior of your home without needing additional permission. But as Business Insider points out, renters may not have the same freedom. Quote, your landlord won't always approve changes when you rent, but you have the power to update the home when you're the owner. Just make sure any big changes are approved by your homeowners association if necessary, end quote. If you do make changes as a renter, there's a good chance you'll need to revert them back at the end of your lease based on your rental agreement. That can add additional costs when you move out. That's one major benefit of owning your own home. Unless there are specific homeowners association requirements, you typically won't have to worry about the changes you can and cannot make. Bottom line, let's chat about it. If you know anybody if you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow, please give them our number. We would be very interested in helping them out. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by the area trusted real estate professionals of Ron Siegel Radio. Visit rsrhomescout.com, rsrhomescout.com. Josh, you got the best line right there. Right? If you change that closet into a bar or a wine closet, that would make I agree 100%. Make it into a wine closet, then I might want to spend more time there, but I just don't get. I'm going to ask around the office today and see what their thoughts are here too. We got to get that graphic out there. Better Outcome segment today being brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Hey, I'm going to tell you right here, right now, that the Better Outcome segment, there's a lot of great information that we put out on these segments every week. And this one happens to be when divorce is becoming less common for young adults. The so-called gray divorce is rising. Thank goodness I'm not gray. I'm bald, although I do have a little bit of gray hair. Gray divorce is those that are over 50 years old, and unfortunately that's rising. It's a shame that we do see that happening, but it is. And we put out a great piece. It's going to be on all of our social channels, YouTube, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. We're going to put it out for you to see. But the bottom line here is couples can divorce later in life for the same reasons young couples split up. When you're over 50, these reasons are framed by aging and the realization that you have more years behind you than ahead of you. Think about that. You're going to take one household, divide it in two. You're not going to have the same amount of assets, obviously, because they've been broken up. You're not going to have the same amount of appreciation or the equity in the property. One of you is moving out. There's a lot of ways to do this properly if it's the right solution for you. And I really, really highly encourage you. Number one, get a copy of the mydymworkbook.com, mydymworkbook.com, and go in and complete that. Send it to us. We'll put together a real estate report, a real estate and real property report for you. Doesn't cost you anything, mydymworkbook.com. And, something you might find that maybe you don't want that divorce once you see what it's going to cost. And maybe there's other solutions for you. That's the Better Outcome segment brought to you by mycdlp.com, mycdlp.com. Again, go to our socials, ronsiegelradio.com, Ron Siegel 1 on Facebook, YouTube. They're all over. Twitter, Twitch. They're all over there. Look in the show notes. We've got all of our socials right there. So go ahead and just get that and get a copy of the full report. A lot of great information in that report. Hey, we're sneaking up. Next week, I'm going to share with you. I'm going to give you a little, what do they call this? Pre-framing. So next week, we're going to have some of our military friends are going to come in and chat with us as we head into Memorial Day. Our friend Jake Kaplan, I think, is going to be here with us tomorrow. So we're going to chat about reverse mortgages. If you know anybody looking or needing a reverse mortgage, we're going to be chatting with Jake again. Those things are all right there on our social channels. Any one of our past broadcasts, They're all ronsiegelradio.com in the radio archives section. So you can get all of that right there. I think I've got another story for you that I was looking at, and I thought I'd share as well. What you actually need to know about the number of foreclosures. But we're not going to be able to talk about that right now when we come back. What you actually need to know about the number of foreclosures in today's housing market. You can reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube. Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Your Credit Matters segment today being brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. You have a credit report. It is wrong. What are you doing about it? Credit Sanitizer has these solutions for you. Again, just make the call, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. What is multi-factor authentication, and why should you use it, or should you not use it? That's the question. As data breaches continue to make headlines, adding an extra layer of security to your online accounts can be important for keeping your personal and financial information secure. One simple step you can take is to turn on multi-factor authentication, which can keep someone from breaking into your account, even if they know your username and password. And usernames are pretty simple. If your password is still password, that could be a problem. But at least what is it? Your password is wrong. So I wonder if they're going to start using wrong as the password. Just throw that out there. Multi-factor authentication, MFA, requires someone to share a combination of at least two different types of information to verify their identity. The info is commonly separated into three categories: something you know, email addresses, usernames, passwords, PINs, account numbers, and other personal information. Something you have, a mobile device, card, badge, or authentication device. Something you are, your fingerprint, face, eyes, voice patterns. There's also a good chance you've used MFA, even if you didn't realize that's what it was called. When you enter a code that's sent to your phone before logging into an account, you're verifying that you know the correct username and password and have possession of the phone that's linked to your account. Similarly, you're using MFA when you use your debit card and PIN at an ATM or credit card and its billing zip code at a gas station. Using MFA with your online accounts. With online accounts, you'll enter your username and password as your first form of verification. The second could come from a one-time passcode that's emailed or texted, a push notification that's sent to your phone, a limited time code that's generated by an authentication mobile app, usually free or security device that you can buy, a security key, a USB thumb drive-like device that you plug into your computer, a fingerprint or face scan, which you may be able to do with your computer or linked mobile app. Each of these has its own pros and cons. For instance, sending MFA codes by text or email is one of the most common options and easiest to set up. But there are bots that trick people into sharing these codes with a scammer, which then lets the scammer break into an account. On the other hand, the physical security devices and keys may be more secure options. However, you'll have to purchase these, and you might temporarily lock yourself out if you can't find the device. Your options may also be limited because some accounts only support certain types of authentication methods, apps, and devices. Should you turn on MFA? Some companies automatically require you to use MFA and send a code to your email or phone, especially when you're logging in from a new device or location. Others don't offer it as an option at all, and some give you the choice of turning MFA on or not. For example, if you have a MyFICO account, best account for dealing with credit issues, myfico.com. No, I don't get paid by them. And yes, I do pay for this service for my wife and I. You can turn on two-step verification, a type of MFA, from your profile page. You'll then verify your password, phone number, and enter the code that's sent to your phone. Turning on MFA can make logging into your accounts a little more difficult. That's the point after all. Still, it's a relatively simple step that's quickly becoming a best practice. Data breach might expose your username or password, which could be sold to criminals who can use it to access your account. One reason to use unique passwords is to keep a data breach from threatening multiple accounts. However, if you use MFA, the person can't log in without the second type of verification. You also have to have options that can make MFA less intrusive in your everyday online activity. For example, after enabling MFA for your MyFICO account, you can configure it to remember your device so that only someone who tries to log into your account from a new device or browser will be asked for the verification. With all this in mind, even if you don't turn on MFA everywhere, consider using it with your financial accounts, loyalty programs, and any other accounts that contain important financial or personal information. Again, that is the Your Credit Matters segment, brought to you by creditsanitizer.com. Don't forget, if you want to get a copy of our free book, my credit book, it's rsrcreditbook.com, rsrcreditbook.com. We give it to you free. That's why it's called a free book, rsrcreditbook.com. Or you can get our ID theft book. It's rsridtheftbook.com, rsridtheftbook.com. So let's get to that other real-time real estate segment that I told you we were going to talk about. What you actually need to know about number of foreclosures in today's housing market. Not a lot of them. So if you're thinking that that's going to be your great savior for getting a new home, probably not going to be the case. So go get the Home Buyer's Guide, rsrhbg.com, rsrhbg.com. Get the Home Buyer's Guide so that you're able to get a guide, start looking for properties where you want, what you want. And you know something, I didn't even get to something we may have to do it tomorrow is how to win a bidding war. I forgot all about that. I'll try and do them both. Can we get them both in, Josh? That's while you may have seen recent stories about the volume of foreclosures today, context is important. During the pandemic, many homeowners were able to pause their mortgage payments using the forbearance program. The goal was to help homeowners financially during the uncertainty created by the health crisis. When the forbearance program began, many experts were concerned it would result in a wave of foreclosures coming to the market, as there was after the housing crash in 2008. So here's a look at why the number of foreclosures you're seeing today is nothing like the last time. There are fewer homeowners in trouble. Today's data shows that most homeowners are exiting their forbearance plan, either fully caught up on payments or with a plan from the bank that restructured their loan in a way that allowed them to start making payments again. If you're watching us on RonSiegelRadio.tv or any of our socials, you see the graph. Loans upon exiting forbearance program, 37% were paid in full, 44.6% were workouts or repayment plans, 18.4% still in trouble. The same MBA report mentioned above estimates there are approximately 525,000 homeowners who remain in foreclosure today. Thankfully, those people still have the chance to work out a suitable repayment plan with the servicing company that represents their lender. Number two, most homeowners have enough equity to sell their homes. For those who are exiting the forbearance program without a plan in place, many will have enough equity to sell their homes instead of facing foreclosure. Call us We'll put you in touch with our team that has a 99-point marketing plan along with a social marketing plan that'll get your house in front of tens and tens of thousands of people. Marina Walsh, CMB, Vice President of Industry Analysis at MBA, says, given the nation's limited housing inventory and the variety of home retention and foreclosure alternatives on the table across various loan types, borrowers have more choices today to either stay in their home or sell without resorting to a foreclosure, unquote. There have been fewer foreclosures over the last 2 years. One of the seldom reported benefits of the forbearance program was to give homeowners facing difficulties an extra 2 years to get their finances in order and work out a plan with their lender. That helped prevent the foreclosures that normally would have come to the market had the new forbearance program not been available. Even as people leave the forbearance program, there are still fewer foreclosures happening today than before the pandemic. That means while there are more foreclosures now compared to last year when foreclosures were paused, the number is still very low and well below what the housing market saw typically. 2017 to 19 is what we were using as the typical numbers. Way down. Current market can easily absorb the new listings. When the foreclosures in 2008 hit the market, they added to the oversupply of houses that were already for sale. It's exactly the opposite today. The latest existing home sales report from the National Association of Realtors reveals total housing inventory at the end of March totaled 950,000 units, up 11.8% from February and down 9.5% from 1 year ago. Unsold inventory sits at a 2-month supply at the present sales pace, up from 1.7 months in February, down from 2.1 months in March. A balanced market would have approximately a 6-month supply of inventory. At 2 months, today's housing market is severely understocked. If you know any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy, sell, or borrow on real estate, give them our number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, 306-1990. That's the Real-Time Real Estate segment brought to you by our friends at homescout.com. I'm going to give this to you quickly. We're going to do a segment just on this. But how can you get a winning offer approved? A winning bid approved? I know we're still in a tight market. A lot of people are having trouble getting their offers approved. So here's the issue. What if you bid way over market price? And I know you're going to say, Ron, I can't afford the payment as it is. But bid way over the market price. Then what I'm going to show you how to do is say to the seller, maybe, and I'm just using round numbers here. What if I give you an extra $100,000? So we got $1,031,000 property, median home price for Orange County, California. And, the property was listed for, say, $950,000. Maybe they listed at $995,000. You say, I'm going to give you $1,150,000. Ron, I can't afford it. But now we're going to say to the seller, okay, so we're $150,000 over. What if we say to the seller, will you give us, if I give you $1,150,000 for the property, will you help me with the payments to the tune of $50,000? Seller nets out at $100,000 benefit. So would you think the seller is going to say, you're going to give me $150,000 and I have to give you 50 of it back and helping you with the payments. Is that the right concept? Yeah, that's what we're saying. Okay, there is a strategy that will allow that to happen. Now, it has to be done exactly correct. We have to give you very, very specific terminology so it doesn't trigger high-cost lending laws. There are specific laws out there that'll trigger high-cost lending laws unless you have specific terminology that you're using for this strategy. But now what's the next step? Oh, Ron, but what if our property doesn't appraise for that $1,150,000? Don't you think I've thought of that? Well, we've got a strategy for that as well. And you're not going to have to come up with a boatload of extra money. Your payments are going to stay the same as if you had bought that property at $995,000. Oh, wait. You couldn't get it at $995,000. Well, if you had been able to get it at $995,000, right? So your payment's going to be very same or similar to that $995,000 price. Not going to have to come out of pocket with a boatload of money. and your monthly payments, and you're going to, the seller is going to get $1,150,000 less the $50,000 they have to use to help you with your payments. Very, very useful strategy. Again, you have to know how to do it. You have to do it properly. You have to get the listing agent and the selling agent on the phone with me, and we'll explain to them how this is done. But just give us a call again, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Watch our socials. We'll put a full discussion of this out on the socials for you. Or you can just go right to our app, ronismylender.com, ronismylender.com. You can get that, our mobile app, and we'll have links to all of our different things right on there as well. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh, who's engineering us today. And, of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.
I like to call him something. I think I'll just call it a day.